Mindfulness, host of Keeping Up with the Chaldeans. I have my co-host Anthony Toma and the wonderful Thaira Kathawa, who I met in my yoga teacher training, here today to tell us about her amazing career in yoga. So let's just get started and we want to learn, how did you...
Enlighten us.
Enlighten us. How did you find yoga? Take us back all the way to the beginning.
Well, yoga came to me by accident around 2007. I was always in the physical industry. And the studio I would go to shut down, and then I was looking for a new place to go and just kind of work out. And a friend mentioned, let's go do a yoga class there around the corner here in Birmingham, actually. So by accident, I went to yoga. It was totally different than what I usually do. And this was more of a mental challenge than it was physical. So something hit me. I was always competitive. That was my ego at first that led me to, I gotta go again and see what's going on here. My ego was always there to go and do another class. But during those classes, something kind of took place. I would find myself sometimes on my yoga mat crying. Sometimes I would find myself on yoga mat laughing. But I also found myself to become a little bit calmer. So at that time, my teacher approached me and said that he feels that I should go through the training, that I might get a benefit from it. I didn't think much of it. I signed up for the training, went through the training. I guess sometimes you tap into things that you don't know you have, but they just come to you by accident. I remember he called out on me in front of 40 students to just teach. I think I started teaching and it came very natural. I got in there and I just thought, he pulled me to the side. He said, you know, this could be your gift.
Wow.
I didn't think much of it. I let it go, continued to study. And before you know it, training was completed. It was very, very hard training. And so I started teaching for him just one class. And that one class developed into 2 to 3. And then at that time when we taught yoga, the understanding we had of yoga was it was a selfless service. We didn't do it for money because you were not making money. You made very little. But we were coming to create a very mindful space for our students and to give them something, because it doesn't matter who you are. Everybody needs some sort of healing. It's not about being rich or poor or you're successful, but everybody needs that place to go where they just can have a little bit of healing. And that yoga mat was that place that we provided for our students. So I got into it a little bit more and enjoyed it. And I was doing it for a while and kept, in the same token as I was teaching, I was tapping into other gifts that were way deep within, and they were just surfacing up to the surface. And if I had to really just sum it all up, yoga is just basically awareness. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And once you have that awareness, that is not about you anymore. This is about we. We are here to serve others. Life is not only about me and my little tribe. It's beyond that, because yoga expands your consciousness. And the highest level of consciousness is that spiritual consciousness where you're becoming, yes, one with God, but you know you are here now and your purpose is to serve others. So that's what I do when I go in to teach in a yoga room. It's not about me. It doesn't matter what I've been through that day. I'm going to walk in, I'm going to deliver, I'm going to encourage, I'm going to motivate, I'm going to strengthen as much as I can for all my students. And that's what it was every single time that, until today, as I walk in, this is about them. It's not about me.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you've created a huge following.
I'm blessed with that, but part of that following comes because It is in my voice that I go in there. There's a conviction behind what I do. I genuinely feel that I'm bringing awareness that this is not an entity of being selfish. This is an entity of we are all here. We gather as a community. We uplift. When we create an uplift, we can go outside. We can uplift others. You know, so when you hear one student say, "You've changed my life," that gives you more courage. Okay, you know what? That's what I'm going to continue to do. So I do it as much as I can. Many who go through my teacher's training tap into those gifts, tap into those talents, and out of this training, you might not just get, I'm a yoga teacher. No, I'm here for a different purpose.
Oh, yeah.
You have something else to go on and to do.
Yeah.
So
we were telling Anthony, like, part of the yoga training, first of all, for those who don't know, it's 3 months long,
yes,
about 20 hours a week, and it's like physical, mental, spiritual. Let's talk about...
It's all what you want. Whatever you want, it really.
You'll be changed either way.
Either way, you'll be changed, but yoga is everything you want. Yoga, the nice thing about it is you're not running away. We all try to run away and avoid our fears, our doubts. We're afraid of change. Yoga helps you to confront all these things, and how can you rise above them?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a gift on so many levels.
It is. I say it's 1 hour of gold because like she's saying, so let's talk about beginners, because a lot of Chaldeans have not taken yoga, they're confused by it, they, you know, some say it's against our religion, things like that, but let's just talk about a beginner, like what benefits.
When we touch the religion, it's a good thing that you brought that up. I've always been to church.
Yeah.
I've never missed my Sunday Mass. My mom always taught me about God and Jesus, but it was yoga that helped me to love God on a greater level and a greater understanding. You know, if you had a quote from the Bible, the kingdom of God is within.
Yeah.
Yoga brings it up to the surface.
Yeah.
So students who come in, most of them tap into that, oh my God, I thought I was religious, but this has made me far more of a good person.
Yeah.
Because yoga is self-compassion, self-love, self-acceptance. When you have these, you can give those away. Because you cannot give away what you yourself don't have.
Yeah.
I can't give you love if I don't love myself.
Yeah.
I can't give compassion if I don't have it. So yoga brings all those qualities. So how can anyone, you know, how can you go wrong if you have that 1 hour to find that mindfulness that I'm becoming more good, more kind, more forgiving, more compassionate, less judging. If this is what, these are the key takeaways, how can it be wrong?
Yeah. I love that.
So,
Are all those messages that you, from the beginning of the podcast since we started rolling, I've heard a lot of beautiful messaging. Are those in the training course, or are those in the dailies?
Those are in your daily practices. You don't have to go through our course, through our training to get that. That's just the plus if you're trying to look for more, like any other retreat you would go to, like any other motivational retreat you would go to. These are just the qualities you are creating on your yoga mat. You start to notice you are in little doses. It doesn't come to you all in one dose. In little doses that you're careful before you can hurt someone in words. You kind of step back and you choose your words carefully. You are, rather than judging, you create the benefit of the doubt. So you just become more mindful. You also become more mindful in what you put into your body. You know, you just have this different type of awareness, and it's a lovely awareness because now here you forgive, you let go, you don't engage in gossip, you just walk away from all senseless things. So there are so many pluses, and you can get that 1 hour of a class. You always leave calmer. You always leave lighter. You almost like lifted this heavy weight off, and you did great.
Imagine if we could enlighten our Chaldean community with the ability not to gossip.
So that's part of the training. So
Really?
for the 3 month training, the things we start out with are like no gossip, no drinking. They encourage not eating animal products, but it's not mandatory. And they also encourage at least one meal you have to sit and chew your food without being on your phone or watching TV.
Mindful. It's called mindful eating.
So by doing all that, like you mentioned, the gossip, you're not allowed to say things that aren't true.
You're just not allowed to gossip. You become mindful of gossiping because you know that gossiping is creating. It's almost it's almost like stealing.
Right.
When you gossip.
Yeah.
So you find yourself you don't gossip. You find yourself you're happier for when your colleague of yours has just been elevated in your industry. You find yourself, this is how you know you're a good person. When you find yourself, you're actually so happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is what you're taking out, jealousy is removed, so ego is removed. Ego is removed. And this is the number thing that gets in the way of a lot of people, is ego gets in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to remove that ego.
You said that drove you, though.
In the beginning.
In the beginning, the ego drove you to be competitive and to drive. So
I had that ego. I walked in with an ego mentality. That ego has been removed. Of course, that's something has been working. I still, once in a while, if I go to practice, as I do my yoga practice and I'm doing poses, I have to be careful because my ego can get in the way, because now I don't want it to turn into, oh, I look amazing in this pose. I always have to bring that awareness. I'm always aware of my practice. I don't want that ego, because remember, negative will always enter into your mind. But it is the positive that you can replace that negative. You can push it away and you start to master your mind differently. And you say, I am the master of my mind. I can create my positive world for me. I am blessed where I am right now, no matter the moment, no matter where I'm going through. That is what yoga is teaching me. So slowly but surely, the ego is removed and you move on. But you have that own awareness. At the end of the day, we are human beings. Doubt does come in. Fear does come in. These are just simple things that are always there. But you always come back and say, you know what, let me take that conscious breath, because we focus on breathing. Let me take that conscious breath. As we draw that breath, let me calm down. Let me push that negative thought away. Let me pull in a little more positive. And that's how people heal. People went to yoga in the ancient times because they went to heal. It wasn't so much about physical.
Heal from what?
People suffered from anxiety. People suffered from depression. Yoga healed them. Yoga healed them through self-acceptance. A lot of people who attended yoga, depression really just comes because from the desire not having what you want. That's how people go into depression. So you were taught you were okay exactly where you are today. From your challenges, you grow. You grow and you have more strength, and there's that insight. I always say it now, I am saying it in the yoga class as students are showing up more, there is an invisible force within. And that invisible force is confidence without arrogance. And this is what you are cultivating on your daily practice. It's not going to take one practice to do that. It's just going to take, like any other journey you start. Journeys, you have to commit. They are consistency, and they open up many doors for you. And this is what yoga is.
So you've taught a lot of students, right? Certified a lot of students?
I've been certifying students since 2013 until today. Only when COVID hit, we had to back off for a year or so. But other than that, we picked it right back up and we're training again.
So you're on this miracle journey and you're teaching all of these people. So you sound like you're on a very high level. What journeys outside of the U.S. or classes or what do they call them, retreats?
There are many retreats, but you don't have to go do a yoga retreat to be mindful. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, if you had to sum up yoga, it's mindfulness. Mindfulness and awareness. Your awareness is constantly changing. Your perception constantly change. You can cultivate that just by attending a mindful class. If you did nothing, if you just showed up and you sat, and literally all you did was close your eyes and you were able to breathe, just to connect with your breath alone, you're doing yoga. This is yoga. That's all yoga is. And yoga, any motivational speaker will tell you, any life coach will tell you today, you have to have a mindful space. This is
True.
a $1 billion industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer local. This is a world, it's a $1 billion industry all over the world. Everyone is teaching this mindfulness. You can get it through meditation. Meditation is a big part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I meditate once in the morning. I meditate once in the evening.
It's amazing.
What does that consist of?
Meditation is hard. It doesn't
Mhm.
come easy to people. Even though I've been on silent retreats of meditation, we were taught when we went through the training to meditate, and that we never understood how meditation increases your level of awareness.
What is meditation? What's
Meditation
the practice?
is just a practice. You sit, and all you do is observe. Remember, you sit still. It's a scary place for a lot of people because a lot of thoughts come into your head. Most of these thoughts that come into your head, they're part of what you did the night before, or what you're going to do in the future, or what this one said to you. But what your mind is doing is actually doing a mental cleaning, because these actually have to surface up. So your mind is doing mental cleaning. Over time, when this is done more often, then you create, what happens is this, the mind starts to become a little more still, and they call it part of transcending. You take Jesus, for instance. Meditation was part of Jesus' life. Jesus always meditated. Jesus always meditated. No matter what saint, no matter what motivational speaker, everyone will tell you, they all meditate. Meditation is not an easy skill, but it's more, if you just start with a minute or two a day and develop from there, you can increase it. For me, it's just 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, and then 20 minutes in my journey walk with nature.
Is meditation is sitting quietly, breathing, or
just sitting quietly,
Observing your breath.
observing just your breath. There's no secret. There's no certain formula. It's not going to give you a bliss. It's just going to eventually down the road taps into a greater purpose. As many people who've meditated will tell you that it taps into your creativity. We as human beings, we are born with at least 88,000 gifts and talents. Some of us won't even tap to one. Meditation,
that's mind-blowing.
yes, meditation helps you to tap into these gifts,
Yeah.
to tap into these creativities. Most of what came to me from my meditation sessions.
Wow.
So,
And the cool part too, so yoga is a moving meditation, and I do want to talk about the physical part, because I feel like when we bring people, or if we tell people we do yoga, like they don't they're scared or they don't know.
I understand. You're a little bit intimidated because of what you see.
It's hard. It took me a couple months to.
Yes.
I was completely imbalanced my first month.
Yeah, and yoga's not about stretching. Most people think, you're going there, I'm not flexible. It has nothing to do with flexibility. That is just the plus side of it.
Yes.
Yoga is just a mindful time, mindful space. Over time, you learn. We all come in, whether we want to believe it or not, unconsciously we hold to some type of stress. Unconsciously. Yoga helps you to release that stress. Even if you can release a little bit of it, some of it a day. Okay, that helps your body because you are at dis-ease. You let go of most of disease come from stress. So you are at dis-ease. I always say, jump in, come as you are. You're welcome as you are. You do what you can. This is not a perfection. You're looking to connect. There's no perfection. It's a connection.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
So you guys kind of touched on the introduction to yoga. It took you months, and you had an incident where the place you were working out closed. What about the average Chaldean out there or viewer out there that wants to get started? Obviously, you just jump right in, right? And that's the best way? Or what is the best way? Do you go in with a plan? Do you decide? Do you look at how many classes are out there?
I think you just go in. Doesn't matter what studio. I don't force anybody to come to. Everybody can go anywhere there's yoga teaching. They can go and do a yoga class. They can try one class. If the teacher didn't connect with them, then they can go to a different class.
It's
an
how do we know
energy.
if
It's an energy thing.
Okay.
Remember, all matter is energy.
Mm-hmm.
We are all energy. We're
Yep.
made up of energy, and it's all how your energy connects with a person. The reason maybe that I have a following is the energy thing. People connect to my energy. People will say, I just can't do this teacher's class. It's not because the teacher is
We're not even doing yoga and I'm blown away.
it's not because the teacher is bad. It
Glad you
has nothing
saw
to do with the teacher. Your energy just did not connect.
Yeah.
You know, certain people walk in the room and there's something about their energy just blow, like you want to be kind of with that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in yoga. You go to a class. If you didn't connect with one teacher, you find another teacher that you can connect with. Maybe the teacher said something that resonated with you that day. And then you say, you know what? Let me go back. I did get something out of this.
Does it happen in reverse though? Like you as a teacher?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So you can tell that there's that person
Absolutely. I would, for example, today I had one student who walked in and he's on a physical level that is up here, that I can make my class so hard, and this guy just this gentleman can keep up because he's intense on another level. So when I see him walk in, his energy right away takes me to another greater level, because then I'm going to push more, I'm going to create more. And so yes, there is certain students who will come in the room that will give you certain type of energy that you kind of rise up with that energy. Absolutely, it's
right,
all
but so
energy.
I was since you're a positive person, obviously, because you didn't even think I was speaking of it being a negative energy in the class.
Yeah.
The student being a negative energy.
Yeah, there is negative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You went right to the positive.
No,
and
there is a negative. There is people who bring negative energy, and I have seen myself back in the days. It doesn't happen to me anymore. I've risen above it. I'm blessed there.
Yeah.
It has happened to me that some students will come in, literally wear my energy down.
Wow.
And you know what? But I have risen over it.
Yeah.
Now they can walk in, they can create all kinds of distraction. I'm always rising above it. I pay no attention because
Yeah.
I don't want to judge them. That's how they walked in. I can move from it. So
That's cool.
it's a skill. You know, to focus on your breathing, it's a skill. A skill becomes a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Over time, this habit, once you cultivate it, it gets better and better and better. Mm-hmm. So you start small. It doesn't matter where you go. For the Chaldean students, they can start at any yoga studio to at least get that in their life. If they're looking to become better with their religion, if they're looking to become better at their work, if they're looking to become just better relationships, even to have better relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you cultivate good relationships because now you're becoming a better listener.
Yeah.
Okay? Most of what we don't listen with empathy.
Mm-hmm.
There's that empathic listening is gone.
Yeah.
We always listen with the intent to react and to judge immediately, rather than just listen without reacting or judging and be empathic.
What do you think people need to hear to get over the hump, to get past the fear of not knowing a thing about yoga, to actually walk through and lay down their
lay down their mat. There's no specific thing I could say for them to go. The only fear that is getting in their way is their own mind. Is their own mind getting in their own way for not stepping in and just coming in and try it. Most of the time we get in our own way.
Right.
And they're just getting in their own way. Yoga is as simple. We welcome everybody. We never turn anyone. We were taught that from day one. It's a selfless service. You don't turn nobody away. Anybody that wants to come in, they were not there by accident. Somebody brought them into that room. Yeah, we have that rule. You're never there by accident. Something brought you to your mat. And then, people have setbacks. Sometimes they walk away for a little while, but then something always brings them back.
Mm-hmm.
Something always brings them back because you've tapped into something that is greater than your own understanding. For every single individual is different. It's for some people it's God, some people it's universe, but for every person, they've tapped into something that is greater than their own understanding. And once you have that, once you've elevated yourself to that type of awareness, there's no coming down.
Well, so why do they quit? or do they? Does it fade over time, and then they feel like it's missing, and then they come back?
No, unfortunately, I think what I've listened to most of my students, the reason they would have setbacks, some of them commitments, some of them have injuries, some of them, you know, it's the lifestyle they're living, and sometimes, majority of the time, they have to wait till they are hurt, or they need that mindful space because they are overwhelmed, or they are stressed out, and they need to come back because they knew something was right.
Yeah.
When
They
showed
knew how
up
to
their
connect
mat.
with themselves
Yes,
and their inner.
absolutely.
Wow.
And so,
Oh yeah, it's basically like a prescription for me. Like if I'm really stressed out, like I need to just go to yoga, and
Yes.
I will come out like a better person.
Mhm.
And like we mentioned, it's like a it's like a moving meditation. So if
Yes.
it's hard for you to, like myself, it's hard for me to just
yeah,
sit
which
still.
is for a lot of people, it's hard for them to sit still and meditate.
This is 1 hour of I'm moving, but I'm also meditating because I'm listening and I'm trying to do the movements. So it's kind of like a mid-level type of
Yes.
meditation.
Yeah, it's called active meditation.
Active, yeah.
When we're moving, it's called active meditation.
Mhm.
Remember, in seated, stillness speaks.
Yeah.
We're moving is we're incorporating active meditation. This is where you can disconnect, regardless that it's a shared practice.
Yeah.
You disconnect and then you tune in into your own vibration,
Yeah.
which we all have this vibration. So this is what you tune into, and yeah, people walk away, and then I'll find them come back.
Mhm.
And there are people who've been doing this for 20 some years, and the people say if they didn't have that in their life, they don't know where they would be.
Yeah.
So it has healed many, many people. So
Do you want to tell him about the silence retreat? Because I think he'd be pretty shocked.
Silence Street was one of the toughest things I've done, I think, in life. You are invited for 3 days to go. I was invited with 40 students from all over, literally, they came from all over the United States. And we went on the silent retreat. You were to go.
Were you a student or an instructor at the
I
time?
was a student at the time who
Okay.
went through my training. So we were in a room with 3 other students. They were all female students that I was with. We were not able to make eye contact, not able to speak.
What do you mean eye contact?
We cannot
By
make-
accident?
You can't make eye contact. You actually have to walk with
Oh,
your
wow.
eyes down.
Oh.
And you even an eye contact, I guess, triggers something. And we were to meditate 4 hours at a time. So
Consecutively?
yes, you sit still for 4 hours. You experience all kinds of physical pain, all kinds of thoughts, even crazy thoughts, maybe from 20 years ago, or like whatever. Things just come
Yeah,
up
you
to
run out of
that.
shit to think about.
Yes. So you were meditating from 5 a.m. You had 4 hours to meditate. Then you took a little 15-minute break. Then you meditated again, and that went on till 9 p.m. Then you were not able to look at anybody for 3 days. So
Or
on the-
speak, right?
15
No-
hours?
No speaking.
no speaking, no eye
For 3
contact.
days.
You went. You only ate peanut butter and jelly.
Mm.
You had
Delicious.
oranges, and that was it. And you went back and you went to sleep. It was a very lonely feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Very lonely, there's something about it that was kind of sad too. But I have to say, at the end of the last 15 minutes of my meditation session, I just started crying out of control.
Because you knew it was going to be over?
No, I don't know, something happened.
Emotions, so when you sit in this, that your emotions are exposed.
I started crying for 15 minutes, and I cannot have a single student come to me. Everybody can hear me crying,
Mm-hmm.
but I cannot have anyone come to me or say anything to me because you can't. But I have to say, I've never left lighter
Mm.
in my entire life. After this meditation session, is like it opened up a light, and I was like, oh my God, I must have been holding on to so much. You know, I had lost a child. I had bottled up so much inside of me, and then it's like everything, it's just like there was a light, a heaviness was
A
lifted,
release.
a lightness came in. It was intense. I went through it, and then I went back and did it again, and did it, and it was wonderful. I have to say it was wonderful. Listen, no
The
hard.
second time, I'm sure it was totally
Yeah.
different.
It was totally different. Then I sat down. It was more just sitting down accepting life as it is, and my mind wasn't going in 20 different directions. Now it was more focused on literally my breath. But then, you have to start somewhere. It doesn't just, it doesn't start. It's just like anything else you do, consistency at the end of the day. It doesn't, I don't want to say it creates perfection, but it just takes you to another level.
So during your meditation and during the retreat, were there like other people walking around talking, or nobody can talk, not even the instructors?
No one.
So how did you know where to go?
Well, we knew when we first arrived to the facility, this was the room to meditate in. And of course, we meditated with our teacher who led the meditation session, and really he didn't speak much. He just told us.
So there was a little bit of direction.
Well, that came before you went into the meditation session. You are going to sit. This is what you're going to feel. There is notes. And we did have a couple of eruptions where a couple of students just walked out and never came back. They just walked out and never came back.
Yeah, bless him. Right away.
They walked out and never came back. I mean, listen.
I can't sit without talking.
I know.
Manaresa's hosting those silent retreats on 16 and Woodward. Manaresa, the Jesuit retreat, is hosting those type of retreats all the time. They do these silent retreats, and people go. People have a hard time to even sit for 5 minutes.
I know.
Meditate.
Yeah, no,
Our community needs it. We need this because it makes your listening better. So we had to do it in our yoga training, just one day of silence.
Really?
By the end of it, your listening is elevated.
Where?
Just by yourself. So I have to go throughout my day and not speak.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I loved it. It kind of refreshes your brain.
Absolutely. It's just such a refresher. There's just so many little things you can do, and then you say, wow. So
your listening gets better.
Yoga, you can make it what you want it to be. If you stepped in there and you say, you know what, I just like the physical part. I don't want nothing else. And so that's what it is for you. And some people come in and I want the mental part. And that's what it could be.
That's
you
actually
can
what.
Make it, yes.
So I had a little bit of a yoga window where I was doing a little bit of yoga, and it was just physical for me. I couldn't get into the spiritual part of it. I don't know if it was the instructor, if it was me just being an ass or whatever, but
not everybody can bring the spiritual part to the yoga room. The reason I believe I have this following is because I bring the spiritual part into it. Right now, everyone knows that it is not about me, that whatever I say in the room, students know that I do have this conviction behind every word I say, and that because I'm spiritually connected, and really spiritual, when we talk about spiritual, is not some religious, I don't want people to think this is some religious and it's a cult. No. Spirituality, all it is the highest form of self-observation.
Wow, that's cool.
That's what spirituality is. The highest form of observation. Okay? And so students are looking for that. And it doesn't matter what type of students. I have from doctors, CEOs, attorneys, Muslims, Christians. Everyone comes in and everyone's getting something and everybody's happy to leave. And then they are, and it's like a beautiful community.
Yeah.
And that everybody can share without placing judgment, without just making it just about your tribe and it's just all about you. No. This is a greater thing. This is about greater. When your consciousness, when you have that spiritual consciousness, it becomes more about how can I serve the world. You want to make that greater impact. It's not about, my metaphor is not through jewelry, clothes, car I drive, the house I own. No, my metaphor is how can I serve.
So I have a selfish question.
Absolutely.
I had hip replacement surgery, full replacement, 6 weeks ago or so. How do I get back into yoga if I wanted to get back into yoga?
You can get back into yoga. You can come back and take one of what we call flow guided class. And this is where you observe what you're capable of your movements are and what you're not. Actually, this is one of my top classes where it draws near 60 students in the yoga room. And everybody's there is because people come in, they are injured physically, and this is now how can they take care of their bodies and watch what works, what doesn't work, what are some poses that actually, you know what, this is healing me, this is opening me up. There's more. Don't forget, when you're breathing, when you do this conscious breath, so what it is, it increases the cells, the cells levels. So it increases, it opens up, creates more space. There's more healing being done. okay? A lot of people will swear, yoga cured my back, yoga cured my hips, yoga cured my knee. So you just come, you have to be mindful of the movements you make and see what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
And there you formed your own personal space and your own practice.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of referred pain that people probably are stretching one area that is related to the other area that is curing
And the other.
the issue, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And so what about saunas, cold plunges?
These are the pluses that come, like I went and got a facial, I went and got a
Yeah.
massage. These are just little things.
Okay.
At the end of the day. For those of us who want to tune out, and I recommend it because it's healing differently. If you want to tune out the noise, then just tune in a little bit into your own vibration, your own, just you and yourself. You want to tune out, you don't have a label. For that hour, you're not labeled as a dad, you're not labeled as a husband, you're not labeled as a child, you're not labeled as a doctor, have no labels. You come in there, you just give yourself a little space, a little time, you tune in into your own, whatever it is, you're tuning in, what I always say, to this invisible force that already is there, but you're bringing it out to the surface. So you just kind of want to be calm, want to be left alone, shut out the noise, let me tune into my own.
Gotcha.
So doctors prescribe it all day long.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
best. I
Doctors,
think the physical part is huge, actually. Like, I never gotten an injury. I mean, the sweating, you
Because
lose
it's a
like
health-
2 pounds of water, like toxins.
these are all the plus.
Yeah.
This is all the pluses
Yeah.
that yoga gives you. But when you know, we as a society, the moment we feel pain, we turn to a pill.
Yeah.
Rather than let's go to the deep
Yeah.
roots of where is this pain coming from? What is leading me to this pain? What is bringing it on? So that's why it's important for people.
Yeah.
People just don't give themselves that opportunity to be alone, to tune out and to see, let's figure out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, and I always tell my students, journal
Yeah.
your
Like, write it
experience.
down?
Absolutely, journal your experience. Yoga creates an experience. It does.
Journal your yoga experience or
You
journal your life?
journal every day,
Yeah.
some sort of,
Life.
write something. If you enjoy your class and you left, and you always say you could just go and write a sentence or two, journal, because journaling is also another mindful teaching where you look back and say, wow, this is where I was then, and this is where I am today.
Wow.
So these are all little things that I am giving. These are little tools, they are little gifts to students who want to come in, who want to get more
Mm-hmm.
of what they're doing in their life. So
Yeah.
that's yoga. That's how you have to sum up the yoga.
A couple more things. You said you meditate 20 minutes in the morning and then 20 minutes at night. Where should somebody go, or what should the environment be for them to actually get into a meditation state?
Just a quiet space in your home. I do it in my home. Realistically, I'm not going to leave to go meditate anywhere. I
Yeah.
do it in my home. I wake up, it's dark. I can understand for some it's hard who have little children. They're crying and there's just no way. So those are the people who have to leave and go maybe seek it out at a class or a studio and just sit there for 5-10 minutes. If 5 minutes can make a world difference.
Maybe in your car.
Yeah. I've had teachers who say you can't do it at home, park somewhere, tune everything out, sit down in your car. Anywhere.
But you want quiet, like
You just want quiet. You just don't want no noise. You just want some sort of quiet where you can sit in a relaxed space and you close your eyes and you just meditate there.
But so it should be absolutely quiet. There shouldn't,
I mean, there's
shouldn't be
always,
any.
like in the morning for
A
me, I hear
bird
the
or-
birds.
yeah.
Oh, I hear birds don't bother. Anything in nature should not bother you.
Okay.
Because we connect to nature. Nothing
So
in
traffic
nature.
should not be involved.
Yeah,
Like, you should try to tune it out.
Hopefully, yeah. If you have traffic, I would recommend you go meditate during traffic.
Right.
You need a quiet space. Sometimes if I don't have that in the evening at home,
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely go to where I teach and I go in a quiet room
Mm-hmm.
and I just set my alarm and close my eyes. I turn off the light and I just meditate there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the second thing, when is it? Is there too early to start yoga, for younger people?
More than ever, yoga is prescribed now in school. It is one of the biggest healthcare industry now. Every Beaumont has yoga. Anywhere you go, Henry Ford, any hospital, everybody has yoga. Yoga is a prescription now that is written to people. It's just the type of yoga that works for you, the style of yoga that you want. You know, so young kids are coming into yoga. More parents are bringing. I have students who come from all over that come from college. The first thing parents do is bring them to class. And it's because they're either overwhelmed, students are overwhelmed, and so they want to teach them this type of mindful space, mindful time. And so the benefits are endless. The benefits are endless. You know, so there is no, you can find, excuses are many because they are created in the mind, and unfortunately we justify them because the mind loves to justify excuses. But if you want to, you can. You can meditate, you can find a yoga class near you, and you can start that journey. Everybody has to start somewhere. So
how many classes would you say, like for a beginner, until they...
Listen, so you're asking me a question that I always recommend 6 days of yoga, 1 day of rest. But
a beginner.
For a beginner, you can pick up 1 class a week. Increase it to a couple of classes a week. And then you'll increase it. I mean, listen, now they're bringing this. My colleague of mine who's taken this now with all the police, what happened with the movement there, that whole police movement, now they want to incorporate some sort of mindful teaching, and yoga is part of that mindful teaching. So if you do it just once a day, if you do it twice a day, I mean, I have football players, I have all kinds of athletes that come in. Everybody is doing yoga. Somehow, some way, you're incorporating that in your life. So, a beginner can go to a class or 2 classes, and then they build from there. And then they might tap into different mindfulness teaching that they like. So it doesn't have to be necessarily a physical type of yoga. They might just go to some sort of class where you're just sitting and kind of meditating. Or, you know, and so it just opens up many avenues. So it doesn't cater to a specific student. It doesn't cater to a specific audience. Everybody. Yoga is open for everybody, all levels, all ages.
The thing I like about it too is, like, you don't have to do, if you can't do something, you don't have to do it. So I try to tell my friends, like, don't feel like you need to come in, because the classes are, I think yoga's harder than any workout, strength training, whatever.
It's mental.
Because it's very mental. But, like, I tell my friends, like, you can just come and, like, even you see me, half the time I'll just be in child's pose, because it's like, you don't have to kill yourself. Just be there, and you'll benefit from it.
What it is you're giving yourself that permission. I will give myself the permission. I need a little time out. I don't need to be doing what everyone else is doing. And this is always invited in the yoga room. So
sorry, I cut you off, Anthony.
No, you're fine. What's the music part of it?
So if you came to a flow guided class, at least every teacher has a different music. I play all genres. But in my flow guided class, because it's more of a meditation class, and it's most of the students who are seeking, who've been through injury, I have all levels. That class brings all levels. So that class is just very quiet music. It's very music with no words. But if you come to, let's say, a class that is a little more intense, you might hear Eminem. You might hear all kinds of music. So I play all genres. I mean, I don't discriminate. I love all kinds of music. And it just depends, you know, who my students are. If I have that day, it's half of them are young guys who just are looking for me to push them. So I kind of know. You have to just kind of know who is your audience, and you cater to that audience. So it's all kinds of music.
You're a yogi and a DJ.
Absolutely. I never knew that I had to take that on when I became a teacher. I always tell my students, I didn't know I had to be a DJ.
Right.
Yes.
For sure.
I love
that. Absolutely.
Well, this has been an amazing episode. Very enlightening. I'm definitely going to get back into the yoga studio and test this hip. We close out every show with a question. What does it mean to you to be Chaldean?
Ooh, That's a tough question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never thought of it that way. I mean, I'm proud to be Chaldean. I don't know if there's a depth in it for me to be Chaldean because I don't look at a specific, because I'm in that it's not a specific thing for me, a culture.
You don't fit in a box.
I do not fit in that
Yeah.
one little box. I just feel like I am beyond Chaldeans. But what I love about Chaldeans, we do have a strong faith.
Mm-hmm.
And we do put our faith at the top of the list. And we really commit to it, and it brings people together. And that's the beauty of Chaldeans, is that they all are committed to their faith. And you know, faith at the end of the day is not just about Jesus and God and all that. Faith is that believe in yourself that you are here to serve and you are here for a purpose.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a box. I love all Chaldeans, but that is all I could say about them, is that we at least have that faith in us as Chaldeans, yes.
And you used yoga to find it.
And I have to say, yes, I am blessed. It's one of my many blessings, and I'll continue on this path. And I always tell my students, the day I stop feeling that I cannot come into the room and deliver, I will walk away.
Yeah.
I have to be honest also with myself.
Well, you still have 67,999 different
Gifts.
gifts to
Yes,
share with the world.
absolutely.
Yeah.
To share with the world.
Every day you tap into one. Every day there's
love
something
that.
there, and you tap into it, and you say, you know what, it's beautiful. And then you walk around with that smile, and you know that this is great, because it's always giving me, there's a little rise every day.
Yeah.
And it's giving me more space now, more time to give back, let me give back. So
Thanks so much for coming out and
Thank
enlightening
you.
thank
us.
you for having me and considering me,
Thanks for
honestly.
being
Thank
here.
you.
For the audience, I hope this inspires you to go to a yoga class. Try to find Thaira's classes and follow her.
Yeah, you just go to my Instagram bio to find out all my classes, and then you go to my handle, Thaira, KTHAIRAK, yoga,